Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I was gonna post this video yesterday, but I got caught up with some things, so I am posting the video today. And if some of you don't know, yesterday was mental health awareness day. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And some of you may know, some of you may not know, that I believe I posted a video kind of like this, but not as intense as this. And I've made posts on my old Instagram and all, like the whole 9 yards. But today I am just going to do my makeup, and I am going to talk to you guys about things that I've been through and going through since, like, this has been going on since my freshman year of high school, and how it changed me and it helped me be a better person that I am right now. So, like I said, I'm just gonna play with some makeup, and I am going to talk to you guys about my story and what I have going on with me. So before I jump into the makeup portion, I want to tell you guys what mental health issues I deal with. So I have anxiety. I don't know if you want to go and put this into a mental illness. I was diagnosed with ADHD, and then I also have depression. The anxiety started a couple years ago. The depression I've had for quite some time now. But yeah, so now that you guys are aware of that, I can jump into the video and I can jump into the makeup portion. I will try to tell you guys each product I'm using, but I will also list all the products below in case I forget any of them. So to start off, we're gonna go ahead and go with my Master Prime. So just to give you guys a little bit of like a visual. So I was a little bit older when I was a freshman. I was a little bit older than everybody else because I did stay back in 3rd grade. So when I was a freshman, I'm going to say I was like 14, 15, maybe 16. And the previous year, my 8th grade year, I actually moved to the other side of town. I was raised in the southern side of town, so I knew just like everyone that was over there, like everyone I grew up with. Whereas moving to a complete another side of town where I knew nobody, I maybe knew like one person, that was about it. And it was definitely hard because I had to leave all my amazing friends behind. Like, I get that I was still in the same city, but it's still different when you're in middle school and a freshman because you can't always just be like, oh, I'm going now, I'll be home later. Like, it was a little bit of a walk to get from one side of town to the other. But yeah, so when I moved, I was like the new girl, you know? Like, no one knew me. Everyone just wanted to either get to know me or they're just like, oh, who's this girl? We're just going to start stuff with her because we don't know her. And so because nobody knew me, people were just kind of like going around just saying pretty much whatever they felt like about me. And it really just kind of took a toll on me. And then it got worse once I got into high school. Because, you know, you're in high school, it's a whole different ball game than what you're already in. And so pretty much my whole high school year was just full of me just trying to be somebody I wasn't. And I just wanted everyone to like me for who I was. Like, for someone, actually, I wasn't not who I was. I apologize. And unfortunately, that just wasn't the case for me. And there's always one girl, for the sake of the video, I'll just call her Karen. We're gonna go with Karen on this one. My contour got a little messed up, but that's fine. And so Karen was always like the biggest issue that we're gonna have in the story was Karen. And pretty much she was always taunting me and just not being the best person. And I actually made a friend, and me and my friend that I made actually became wicked good friends. And so this friend that I had, she started dating a guy who was like 3 times her age. She was like 16. He was like in his 30s, I believe. And it was just obviously not a good thing, but I never told anyone. And Karen was going around telling people that I was, spreading rumors about her, basically. And then the friend that I made, we're just gonna call her Michelle. So Michelle, instead of coming and talking to me, she actually picked me up and dragged me by my hair across the cafeteria. And that's where things actually got wicked bad for me. So after she did that, I was desperately looking around at my friends to help me. None of them would help me. And I was just stuck. Like, I was sitting on the floor and I was just like, what do I do? Do I get up and fight, or do I go and get a teacher? And knowing my mom probably would have killed me, I got up and I went and found a teacher. And what ended up happening was I ended up in my assistant principal's office crying my eyes out. And then he ended up telling my mom that never actually happened. But it did happen. And he did tell my mom that he actually spoke to the girl. But that's all he did. And this girl was on the wrestling team. She was, yeah. And that's all he did, was just talk to her. He didn't give her any sort of penalties or anything like that. Even the school police officer didn't do a thing. And it was just when you're in school, I feel like you should be protected. And so after that whole situation, I actually stopped going to school for I'm gonna say 2 to 3 months. And I actually started to go hang out with my stepmother at work. And eventually, I decided I was ready to go back to school. But I told my mom, if I am going back to school, I want to go back to the other side of town where I know people. And she was like, okay, that's fine, we can do that. So my mom actually knew the principal at the school that I was talking about. And my sister also graduated from that school. So he was nice enough to sit down and have a meeting with us, and I told him about the issue I was having. And he said, okay, that's fine. While we're waiting to hear from the superintendent, then I just need you to go back to school over at that school for like a week. So just to backtrack through what happened those 2 months before I continue the story, because I could just completely remembered I missed a whole part. So, and this is actually a pretty major part that I should probably talk about. So during those 2 months where I wasn't at school, I was in a very depressed stage where I thought that, you know, things were not going to get better. Things were just going to stay the way they were, and I thought that I was just trapped and that nobody was going to help me. So I turned to things like pills and then self-harming. So I was essentially, and if you're sensitive to this kind of stuff, I'm sorry if I have to tell you before, just don't watch the video. So pretty much I started just harming myself, and there were moments where I was actually ready to just kind of essentially just commit suicide. And I did actually have a suicide attempt, but I remembered all the things that I have to live for, and I couldn't do it. So after all that, I actually decided to go back to school. So back to the meeting with the principal. So yeah, he said that if I went back to school there for at least a week, I could go to this school. And I tried to go back to that school, and I ended up in the principal's office crying my eyes out. Now, the principal at the other school had told me that I could go home because it would not affect my grades in any way. So I went home. And then he proceeded to tell my mom that that didn't happen. And then after that whole thing happened, I actually went to have another meeting with the other principal. And the other principal he actually did not believe me. So he called the other principal to ask him about it. And that principal lied as well to this principal. And as soon as I heard, because he called him on speaker while I was in his office, and as soon as I heard that principal lie and say that all that never happened, I broke down in tears, and I think that's probably what made him kind of open up and have the heart for me. So what happened was he pretty much just told me, well, once we get the okay from the superintendent, you can come to school here. You just have to keep your grades up. And I did. I kept my grades up. I did everything humanly possible that I could so that I could stay in that school, because that's where I wanted to be. That's where I was comfortable. And that was just like the best thing I ever did in my life, was just go back to the school where I knew everybody. And through all the time that I had at that school, the one that I ended up transferring to, honestly, it was so much better for me, because my grades improved. Just me as a person, I improved. And it was just, I was just turning into a whole new person. And then it was just like, I had a situation where everything just kind of came back to me, went back right to where I was, right in square one. So pretty much what happened with that was, when I switched schools, there was this girl at the school who I barely knew, but there was also this other girl at the school who I actually grew up with, and she knew a little bit about me. And what ended up happening was they started spreading an old rumor about me, like a really old rumor. And so the rumor was that when I was in elementary school, this rumor started that I went and took my blood from my womanly time of the month, my menstrual cycle blood, and actually wrote on the wall with it. So really quickly, I just want to tell you guys, I did not actually get any of that stuff until I got into like maybe 6th grade. Just to let y'all know. I know you didn't need to know that part, but just so you all know. So everyone went after me and was saying that it was me when it was not me. And it started this whole thing where people just started, going after me for it, saying, oh, it was you, I know it was you. And so this rumor was pretty much the same thing. Only difference was they were saying that I did it at my old school where I had just transferred from. And so they started harassing me on Instagram. And also just like they just kept commenting and commenting and commenting, just would not leave me alone. So I ended up blocking them. And then for a while they were just following me in the halls, and they would just kind of smile at me and pretty much just give me, like a look every time they saw me in a hall. But they would never approach me or just kind of like even talk to me about it, which to me is like something that is, middle school. And so eventually one of them graduated. The other one, I don't really know what happened to her. She just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth after a while. And then things, started to get better for me again. And then, here we go, we're backtracking again. Things got worse again. And at this point in my life, I was 17. And I actually went onto this dating site. I don't know if any of you have actually heard of it. But teens are allowed on the site, and it's called Meet Me. And at the time, I was very confused about my sexuality, and I didn't know what I actually liked. And I met a girl on there. And for the sake of the video, we're going to call her Maria. And I thought that I was madly in love with Maria. I thought that she was going to change my life, and me and her were going to be together, like pretty much like forever. Well, clear that didn't happen. Everything was good with her until I think it was maybe, I'm going to say after like a 2-month period, because 2 months into our relationship, she actually proposed to me. And me being a young child, I said yes. And what ended up happening was she ended up actually having to go back to Oklahoma, which is actually not where she was born, but where she spent a lot of her life. She was actually born where I'm from, New Hampshire. And she was just kind of, at first I thought she was like, everything that I thought I was going to have forever. And about 3 months into our relationship, she actually started cheating on me. And I found out because I was on her phone and I saw all the messages. She actually went back onto the site where I originally met her and was messaging other girls. And what's worse is at this time, she actually didn't have a phone. Her phone was off. So she was going over to what I thought was her friend's house every weekend and just doing whatever, which I honestly was just like, okay, it's just another friend, whatever. And the thing is they were also friends on Facebook. So she knew about me because my ex-girlfriend Maria was always posting about me. So she knew that me and her were together. She actually ended up claiming that she never knew that. But she ended up turning into this whole big thing. And when I found out, I was actually, before I went to her, I was actually asking her roommates. Her roommates actually stuck up for her. And there was one night when I was actually hanging out with my girlfriend, and she actually invited the girl over. And she was pretty much the reason why she invited her over was because she wanted me to meet her. Because she wanted to swear to me that they were just friends. Now this is where I discovered there's a lot more going on there than what she's telling me. So that's when I figured out for myself that she was cheating on me. Because once that girl came over, I was invisible. I sat in a room for almost 2 hours and she did not notice. So me and her got into a huge argument and she threw that girl out of her life. And a month or two later, in comes another girl, same exact situation. You think I would have learned. And I would have left her right on the spot. Nope, I'm dumb. So pretty much what happened with this one was she actually got into an argument with the girl, and I almost got into a physical fight with her. And so me and my ex-girlfriend actually broke up for a while because of it. And then one night I was actually at my dad's house, and it was pretty late at night, and I was on the phone with my ex-girlfriend. And I was trying to resolve things with her. Didn't exactly go quite as planned, because what actually ended up happening was the girl was actually at the house. And she actually tried to climb into bed with my ex-girlfriend. And pretty much that argument ended up with me blacking out, smashing my head off of a bathtub, and crying my eyes out. I think it was about a couple months after that, and at this point we'd been together for I'm gonna say a year and a couple months. And pretty much what ended up happening was that I actually ended up leaving her. And then I thought that, she was going to be out of my life for good and whatnot. And then a few months later, I get a call from someone who I actually was very close to. And it was actually my stepsister. And me and my stepsister were very close at the time. And she told me pretty much that she was dating my ex-girlfriend. And at first I did say that I was okay with it. But then later I realized that I wasn't that okay with it. So I tried to go to my stepsister about it. And my stepsister just kind of blew it off. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So then I let that whole relationship go and do its thing. And I think it was, so they were together for I think like 2 or 3 months. It might have been more, I don't know, it's just kind of where I remember. And eventually they broke up. And a few months later, I actually made a stupid decision and ended up getting back together with the ex-girlfriend. And I was only back together with her for a week. And she ended up cheating on me. Multiple times, actually. And one of them was actually with one of her coworkers. So with that, it was a few minutes before I walked in the door to go visit her at work. She was making out with her coworker. I called her out on it. Her excuse was that she didn't know that me and her were back together. Needless to say, the next day, I got up and I decided I was going to break up with her. I gave her stuff back, she gave me my stuff back, and that's it. That was the end of it. I was done talking to her at that point. And then, so eventually that just kind of dialed down and I haven't heard from her since. And so at this point I was working at Walmart. And I had a friend who I was very, very close to. He was my brother. He called my mom Mom, and he was my brother. And he unfortunately had a relapse and had OD'd on heroin. That definitely set me back a lot. And I didn't know what to do because he was like, you know how everyone has like their person that they go to? Well, he was kind of like my person. Like, if I ever needed anything, I went to him. If I was at work and I was having a bad day, I went to him. He was my brother. And that just, like, I still cry about it to this day once in a while because he is, like, he was everything to me. And then a couple months after he passed away, I got told that I no longer had a little brother. I do have a little brother. He is my blood brother, and I do love him very much. He is my world. I'm not gonna say he was my world. He is my world. And he was also like my best friend for years. And his mom and my dad got divorced. And then pretty much his mom just kind of pretty much, needless to say, took him away. That also took a toll on me. And I still don't know how to cope with that portion of my life. To grow up with someone and all of a sudden have it taken away from you. So I still deal with that. And it's definitely hard on me. But I deal with it. And pretty much, so I don't see him anymore. I haven't seen him since last time I saw him I was 18, and it was only for like maybe an hour. And I haven't seen or heard from him since. And so another thing that came up in my life at the time was, actually, no, we're going to fast forward a few years to recently. So I was actually doing just pretty much fine through those years. I I don't know, I just didn't have anything really going on through those years. I got new jobs. I made new friends. I just made myself a better person through those years. And then, unfortunately, about a year ago, my grandmother actually passed away. Actually, it's been more than a year. It's been about a year and a month now. And that was also very hard on me. Because with my grandmother, I was seeing her almost every day when I was in high school with my cousin. And just to all of a sudden have that person just not there. And she was in a house that I was always going to since I was a kid. So knowing I can't go to that house anymore and that she's not there, it definitely takes a toll on you. And that's definitely not something that I probably won't recover from, but I've gotten better with it, I guess is the words I want to look for. And it's definitely still been hard, but I am still growing. I am still, I make mistakes, but I learn. And life isn't always fair for anybody is something that I've definitely learned. But you do have to make the most of it while you can with the people that you can, because you never know what's gonna happen. Especially so on a side note, my boyfriend, he is a tow truck driver. Now that is a profession where tomorrow is definitely not promised, because sorry, I'm trying to blend here. I forget the statistics that he gave me, but needless to say, a lot of tow truck drivers can die in 1 week from doing something while they're working. And knowing that, it makes me worry about him every time he does a tow, because I don't know if he's gonna come home. I don't know if I'm gonna get a call saying that I need to go to the hospital because my boyfriend got hit by a car. And even just thinking about it, I want to cry, honestly, because right now he is definitely my rock and my everything. He's my best friend, and I don't know what I would ever do without him, because even though he is a pain in my butt, I love him to the ends of the earth. And he has made me the happiest I've been in a long time. But I think that's pretty much my whole story for you guys. I am going to finish this makeup look telling you guys what I've been using. So right now I'm using my Through My Eyes palette, and I'm just kind of doing a little bit of something. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going out on a limb here. I just wanted to be different today. And I don't think I've really done a look like this, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah. So I think that's pretty much my life story right there. Put on this. Did you feel I actually forgot to use this the other day. I actually got this the other day. This is from the Walmart brand. This is the Equate Beauty. It's a highlighter fan brush. I believe it was only like $3. So I was like, ooh, I need a highlighting brush. Looks like these. It's a little thick, but it looks good. I mean, it looked good to me. Ooh, it feels good. Feels wicked soft. But softness, not exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for quality. Alright, so let me just pick up some highlighter here. This is the Maybelline Master Chrome in the shade Rose Gold. Yeah, Rose Gold. Excuse me, where's my highlighter? So apparently this brush might be not, I don't think this brush is enough, honestly. I mean, I like the beauty blenders that the Walmart brand has. I don't know about this brush, because I just put on like a zillion layers of product and nothing. So let's pick up another brush. This is just a little eyeshadow brush here. And I'm just gonna, oh, there it is. There she is. I was gonna say, I promise you guys this highlighter is way better than what that brush was doing then. And I know that like a lot of people say like sometimes that like, you know, it might be the product that's not working, but also a lot of times it also might be your tools. Because I have found that a lot of tools work better than some others. Like, for instance, that brush and this brush. Like that brush might be more for like a loose highlighter, but definitely not a packed highlighter. Okay, we get the highlighter on. What's next? I should probably throw on my eyebrows. It's probably a good idea. Brow. Other brow. I don't know if some of you noticed, but my eyebrows are kind of drastically different. Because this eye, I actually have a little bit of a scar on. When I was a kid, I actually tripped and fell and smacked my eye off of a wooden chair. So this eye, my eyebrow's a little different. As you can see, it's kind of like, has a little bit more of like an arch to it, as opposed to this brow doesn't. And you can still see the arch, but this one has more of an arch. So this is just my resting face. Resting. My eyebrows are not the same. But yeah, so that's why this brow is a little bit different than this brow. Today. Let's throw some eyeliner on. Eyeliner. This eyeliner has actually been wicked good, to be honest. I got it out of last month's BoxyCharm. It's the, that's already fading, the Hollywood and Vine Velvety Touch Kohl Eyeliner, and it's in the shade 101 Black. And I think it was only like, it was retail at like $7, I'm gonna say. And I've been really enjoying it. It's very pigmented, and it stays where it needs to stay all day. Oh, try to put my eyeball. Okay. 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 I do want to do something a little cheesy though. I am gonna attempt to do a little semicolon, you know, like somewhere around over here. You know, in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. There's my semicolon. It's not the best semicolon, but it's a semicolon. I gotta stop saying semicolon. Alright, so what I do want to do is I want to grab a little bit of some matte setting powder. Where is my matte setting powder? There it is. Ooh, I forgot there's no thing on it. Jeez. I'm trying to pick up a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm just gonna dab it right over it. Just right over it. Just like that. I'm just need to. I'm a little dirty now. Alright, just go. So wait, it stays put. Alright. Ooh. Now, one product that I actually forgot about that I wanted to try. This is yet again another mascara. This is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. And I actually got the shade black this time, not like brown or very brown like I did, you know, the other day. So, I've heard good things about this, so I'm excited to try it. We're gonna look at the wand really quickly. That is the wand. I don't know if you guys can, let me see if I can get it to focus there. It kind of has like a little bit of like an hourglass kind of figure. The packaging feels good. It feels kind of like, not to be mean, a normal, everyday kind of packaging for the drugstore, as opposed to like, yeah, let me give you guys a few examples here, because I am loaded with mascaras. So, I have several drugstore mascaras here in front of me. I got these ones. They feel a little heavy, but the packaging is still very nice. They're very shiny, but they're light. This is like, I'm pretty sure this is made of metal, and this is the Better Than Sex from Too Faced, and it's very heavy. Another one that's very light from CoverGirl, the Total Tease. This one's actually kind of heavy. This is the Maybelline The Rocket Volume Express. It is actually pretty heavy, surprisingly. This is another CoverGirl one. This one's actually also a little bit heavy, but I think that's just because of the plastic that was used. Another one that's also kind of heavy, but more high-end, the Tarte Big Ego Mascara. And it is kind of heavy. This is like featherweight. Okay, anyway, we're gonna dip into this. hit myself with the face. Alright, so I am gonna curl my lashes. I'm gonna treat it like any other mascara I normally use. Okay, and here we go. Huh. Why is the drugstore really stepping it up lately? Can anyone tell me? Holy shit. Okay, I need to zoom in and I need to show you guys what my lashes look like right now because they looking crazy. Okay, ready? Hello. Okay, so this is the side with the mascara. Do you see how long these lashes are? This is the side with nothing. There is nothing on this eyeball. This is with it. Oh my god! I'm excited right now. Let's do the other eye. We got the other eye. We have to. I'm kind of excited right now. I think I found my perfect mascara. Ready? Go, curl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3. And 1 for good measure. I love this mascara. Making my lashes grow and grow. Holy Jesus. Oh my god. And it is quick drying too, which you don't get that a lot these days. So, my hair is messy yet again because it's been up all day in a boon. But we're going to bring out the messy red hair so that we can, you know, make it look like our hair is did even though it's not did. Just got to take it out of a bun, that's all. We got the big 80s hair, you know. But yeah, so I'm glad you guys came to watch the video. If you watched the whole video, if you just watched part of it, that's fine too. But make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and you can ring the bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And I do have a quick shout out I have to give because this girl made me wall art to put onto my channel. I haven't put it up yet, but I will. And it looks bomb. And you guys can go follow her on her Instagram. Her Instagram is, let me pull it up here. It is Brit. It's Britchenell. And I will definitely put it in the comments below for you guys. So you guys can go and message her if y'all need, you know, wall art or anything. She is amazing. And yeah, if y'all, like I said before, you guys can comment anything you want me to do, anything you want to see, any products you want me to try, anything at all. I just realized I forgot lipstick. We need to backtrack. We need to backtrack real quick. We're just gonna quickly throw on this one. quick lipstick application. There we go. I have a mouth now. But yeah, so like, subscribe, comment, anything you want me to see, anything you want me to do, any products you want me to try, just anything at all. Or even if you just want to say, hey, how you doing? You can comment that too. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!